Here is the official face-off. Today, September 12, Allegiant Stadium, Los.
You know, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia. It's even. I think it'd be a 50-50 fight if Crawford fought Canelo.
Before his fight with Crawford, Canelo Alvarez had a slow but clear win over William Skull. Now, the boxing world is focused on what is being called the fight of the century, when the fight was announced inside the ring seconds. After Alvarez's majority decision win, it was between two of the best fighters of their generation. However, there is growing talk among professionals that the fight may not live up to expectations.
Crawford, Canelo, who you got?
Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yep.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should test the waters even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, they say he's a dog, he's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital, so maybe that's just his mentality.
Turki Alalshik stood next to the Mexican champion and confidently stated, "Now we want to do the fight of the century." The fight in September between the two greatest fighters of our generation, Canelo Alvarez and Crawford. It will take place on September 12th at the stadium in Las Vegas. Fans and experts have already started to doubt not only the matchup's potential, but also its purpose and validity in terms of competitive value. No matter how great the setting is, Canelo didn't look like he was ready for a generational fight. His showing against William Skull, who had never lost before, was disappointingly average. Canelo's previously devastating bodywork and counterpunching aggression were gone, replaced by sporadic telegraphed punches that lacked force. He moved and threw very slowly, and he looked his age.
They just want to last the distance.
That's a mediocre mind. That's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put great show, you know? You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics to try and box?
I hope not. I hope not, because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford fight?
I'm excited. I'm gonna enjoy this.
People who watched, like Dmitry Kirilov, Dmitry Bivol's teacher, were honest with Telekomacha. Kirilov stated, "I saw nothing new. Alvarez occasionally burst with one or two punches without a combination, which were inaccurate. That has always been his style. As he gets older, he loses passion. He's not using combos, just one or two punches, and they weren't even accurate, but Skull could only have won by knockout. Alvarez remains a superstar. Crawford will easily destroy Alvarez if he continues to work like he did today." This takes us to Crawford, who is unbeaten and in perhaps the finest shape of his life, but is also set to make a 3-weight class jump to 168 pounds.
Only made sense to fight Skull so that the sole reason Crawford was moving up was to become 3-time undisputed. That puts a lot more relevance on the fight between Crawford and Canelo, right? It makes it more about legacy outside of him jumping up 2 weight classes. So
he last fought at 154. The move to super middleweight is not just ambitious, it is nearly unprecedented, and for many onlookers, it appears to be about money rather than legacy. The reported purse for both guys is $100 million each, a staggering number that quickly raises suspicions. This fight was not sparked by fan outrage, mandatory challenger status, or a grudge. It was sparked by opportunity, and many now think this is Crawford's golden parachute, a final pyrotechnics show before he gracefully retires.
I don't. Because I'm looking at, say, Canelo guaranteed 150, you guaranteed 100 million. Damn, bud. It's too late for me to trade? I mean, that's that number, that sounds like a number that you can get down with.
Man, I don't know, man.
But I don't know, bud. 150 mil. You still gonna want to go over in there and train? You still gonna want to go do another fight?
They might come with 250.
Even Crawford has not shied away from discussing legacy rather than future goals. "Yeah, I would definitely put my resume in the top 5. Crawford stated, "I'm jumping up 3 weight classes in honesty and facing probably one of the best Mexicans to ever fight at his weight. There is no way to rehydrate. I'm just fighting the guy at his best. I believe that my body of work helps me to compete with anyone from any era. If I win this battle, I'll be known as an all-time great because few boxers have gone from 135 pounds to 168 pounds. It's crazy.
I have to ask about Terence Crawford. Do you think it'll add to your legacy, the fight with Crawford?
Yeah, a lot. He's a really good fighter. 2 times undisputed champion. He accomplished so much. So can add a lot to my career.
There is a sense of conflicting perception regarding this collision. On the one hand, it pits 2 of boxing's most skilled operators against each other. Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion who defeated Errol Spence Jr., and Canelo, the current unified super middleweight champion who has fought and beaten elite names such as Gennady Golovkin, Miguel Cotto, and Sergey Kovalev. However, the legitimacy of this contest as a super fight is called into question, especially given what fans have demanded.
Tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small.
For years, fans have been calling for a fight between Canelo and David Benavidez, often known as the Mexican Monster. Unlike Crawford, Benavidez has fought his way to the top by staying energetic, explosive, and undefeated. Benavidez is a natural super middleweight who is younger and offers a true physical and stylistic threat, but instead of the fight that boxing purists and the Mexican fan base had hoped for, we are getting what many think is a money grab.
Canelo running from Benavidez. What is that? I mean, imagine if I ever ran from anybody. Like, did I run from somebody in my career? No. Did Chavez run from somebody in his career? No. Chavez was 87-0. Imagine that. So to me, that's the all-time greatest fight.
Julio Cesar Chavez, the Mexican superstar and perhaps the best boxer the country has produced, weighed in with a bold prediction that represented the feeling of many in Alvarez's camp. It's really an uneven fight, Chavez said on Fight Hub TV. Crawford is a great boxer, but Canelo is out of his class. Crawford is going for the money, and Canelo will knock him out. It was a powerful endorsement from a legend who does not give praise cheaply, but that opinion is not shared by everyone. Crawford's 2023 slaughter of Errol Spence Jr. put the world on notice.
I'll be going for Bud. You know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going Crawford. I think if anybody can put it off, he can put it off.
Yeah.
He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, he started at 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford do it?
He's more than just a mechanic, he is a finisher. His ability to change stances, control distance, and adjust in mid-fight has made even great opponents look average. His confidence is really great, standing face-to-face with Alvarez. In the ring following the skull fight, Crawford vowed, "In September, I'll show the world what greatness looks like."
Listen, when I told my boy Jazz, I already caught the biggest fish in Texas. About to get out here and get it in. Y'all see the water. I know who the #1 fisherman is. Even big fish get caught.
Some neutral onlookers, including other boxers, remain split. Heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk initially supported Crawford, saying on the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast, "I like Terence. He's a crazy man. Terence wins. Terence is a different man. Terence works on 2 sides, right and left. He's a really bright dude. He experiences distance and space. Canelo is a big, good boxer, but I think Terence can box him like a huge guy." Later, Usyk changed his stance, telling TNT Sports that he could no longer pick a side. Very difficult 50-50.
Over Canelo. Well, Terence win, but listen, Terence is different man. Terence work in two stojka.
Two sides.
Two sides.
Right.
And
And
right,
switch hitter.
yes,
He's a switch
yes,
hitter.
right
Yes.
and left. But it's very smart man. It's very smart. But feel distance.
Oscar de la Hoya, Canelo's previous promoter and 6-weight world champion, also shared his thoughts in an interview with Brian Mazik. While he agreed that Crawford's victory could be historic, he expressed doubt about the possibility of such an outcome if Crawford can pull it off. Jesus. Lord, give this man the title of greatest ever, but I don't see it. Canelo is a strong puncher. Yes, he walks on mud, which Crawford can use against him, but the bigger Canelo will put 200 pounds of pressure on him in the ring. It's a tough fight, but I give Crawford full credit. If he wins, he will be regarded as the fighter's messiah.
History of the sport. It just now if Crawford can do it, Jesus Lord, I mean, give this man, I mean, the title of being the greatest ever, you know? And that's probably the motivation for Crawford. That's probably the motivation for his camp, for his, you know, for his corner, for his trainer, is that, look, if you beat Canelo, you can go down as one of the historical best fighters ever on the planet. I mean, that's enough motivation for any fighter.
Aside from the match itself, the business and spectacle aspects are obvious. Allegiant Stadium will sell out. The event is backed by substantial Saudi funding, high-definition broadcast agreements, and unmatched promotional reach. Canelo thinks it will outperform even his 2013 mega-fight with Floyd Mayweather in terms of income and influence. Crawford hopes to become the first fighter in the four-belt era to go undefeated. In 3 different weight classes, the stakes couldn't be higher for either man, with one chasing history and the other protecting heritage.
Talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
However, the buzz stays strangely quiet. The $100 million paydays are eye-watering, but they come with the weight of expectation, especially from supporters who believe the sport is passing up legitimate candidates in favor of legacy-chasing displays. This fight was offered rather than demanded, and while the poster says fight of the century, the jury is yet out on whether it will be regarded as such or merely as the largest payday of two famous careers, going down at drastically different rates. Terence Crawford thinks that many people misinterpret Canelo Alvarez's abilities, despite his reputation as a powerful puncher. Crawford insists that his opponent's skills go much beyond his knockout power.
What do you want next? It seems like that's going to be the fight. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, the biggest fight in boxing.
Well, Canelo's the face of boxing. He's the best fighter for Terence Crawford out there. He's the biggest fight for Terence Crawford out there. So that's why Terence Crawford want to take the opportunity to share a ring with another great.
How do you beat him?
You'll see.
In an interview with Shannon Sharp on the Club Shay Shay podcast, Crawford challenged this simplified picture of Alvarez. He argued that while a fighter's punching power is always effective, it may not necessarily have the same effect on a larger fighter as it does on a smaller one. Crawford, on the other hand, stressed that he did not need to knock out Canelo in order to win. He only needed to outbox him. Crawford's point of view is clear. Canelo's striking power should not be the focus of examination when judging his ability. Canelo is more than simply a puncher. I'm not sure why people assume that. They don't know anything about boxing. They just view him as a big, strong man. He's a great boxer. People are missing his boxing abilities and thinking he is simply a puncher, which is incorrect.
Been beating up big dudes all my
Because they underestimate your blood.
It's just, even if they didn't, I'm gonna beat you up. You know, I can fight.
Right.
You know, so if you watch, like, all these dudes bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't care, but I'm gonna find a way to win, no matter what.
In September, are you gonna pull this? I shook up the world. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you.
Crawford is attempting to correct the record, saying unequivocally that those who just see Canelo as a puncher do not understand the breadth of his skill set. Canelo is more than simply a brute power. He is a complete fighter with numerous traits that should be admired and studied. Crawford continued his appraisal of Alvarez, noting that he was considering every facet of the Mexican fighter's game as they prepared for their future match. Canelo is not only a tremendous puncher, but also a great boxer who can take punches, execute counter-punches, and control the pace of a fight.
Crawford, with that domination, with that power, with that IQ, with that skill set, gonna be a problem for anyone with that style. Let me just reiterate that with that stuff.
Crawford also stressed Canelo's power as a body puncher and his exceptional balance. He emphasized that Alvarez is rarely out of position, showing the precision and technical components of his fighting approach by acknowledging Canelo's full range of ability. Crawford was bracing for a much more complicated and difficult fight than some would expect. Virgil Ortiz has stated unequivocally that he thinks Canelo will win the fight and that the result would be decisive. In an interview with Ring Magazine, Ortiz, who has publicly stated his desire to face Crawford if he comes back down to 154 pounds, did not mince words about the approaching fight between the two champions. Ortiz clarified, "Just to keep it real, I think he's too small. Yeah, he just weighed in at 180. But adding weight and actually being that weight are two different things."
Do you still want that matchup with a Terrence Book Crawford? I don't know if he's going to come back down after Canelo Alvarez, but what about Book Crawford? Because every time he fights somebody, you beat the Mean Machine better, you beat Masvidal better. It's like you cleaning up his work. Would you fight a Terrence Book Crawford?
I would, and I would like to. I did hear that he's gonna retire after Canelo, which you know is fair. He's gonna two-time undisputed champion.
Ortiz distinguished between adding weight for a fight and truly being able to fight effectively, a higher weight class, and he does not think Crawford will be able to make the transition to 168 pounds effectively. While Crawford may have gained some weight, Ortiz thinks it will not be enough to compete against someone as seasoned and powerful as Canelo. Ortiz, although admitting Crawford's talent, claimed that the bout would be a mismatch in favor of Canelo.
That I favor Canelo is that, you know, his weight,
yeah,
and that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, you can't.
He noted that Crawford is struck during his fights, and that being caught clean by one of Canelo's strong punches would not be good for anyone, regardless of who they are. "I know I'm going to get some flack for saying this, but Crawford gets hit. Yes, he does. He gets hit like everyone else. Sometimes he is hit cleanly. It's bad news if Canelo cleans him up. It's not good, no matter who you are. And Canelo is fast. He's not a slow puncher. He'll take you off guard. It's simply different." Ortiz made a strong case that Canelo's blows are fast and powerful, which could be disastrous for Crawford if he can't escape them.
I feel like I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out, from Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously.
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not. Kovalev.
Kovalev was older. He does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me.
Errol Spence Jr., who just faced Crawford in what became one of the most anticipated boxing events of 2023, has a different opinion. Spence, while noting Crawford's difficulties in going up to 168, expressed confidence in his previous opponent. Spence told Fight Hub TV, "I'm going for Bud." Spence emphasized that if Crawford wanted to challenge himself and strive for excellence, he wholeheartedly backed his choice. "If Crawford wants to push himself to be great, let him try. You know, so I am with it. I'll go for him. I'm not sure if he'll win or lose, but I'll surely be pulling for Crawford." This statement shows Spence's camaraderie and respect for Crawford, even though the matchup is challenging for the Nebraska native.
There's no Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division.
Spence believes in Crawford's will to fight at the highest level and recognizes his willingness to face a big challenge. "I believe he can pull it off." Spence said that he believed in Crawford's abilities and commitment, and that he backed Crawford's goal. Yaron Boots, when asked about the Canelo vs. Crawford fight, Ennis initially took a neutral stance. When questioned about the fight in January, Ennis said he couldn't predict a winner, calling it as a 50-50 match that fans would be interested to see. However, Ennis has since altered his forecast. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Ennis claimed that he now leans towards Canelo. His argument for this change comes from the notion that Crawford's move to 168 pounds without a warm-up fight could hurt his chances.
I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So,
Anna stated that, while Crawford may have gained weight to fight at this higher weight class, he has never fought at that weight before. I think you should lean more towards Canelo because, as I previously stated, he's been knocking out big people, and Canelo isn't even a 168 pounder. He probably should be 160, and he's been hurting these guys. So what do you think?